Dried figs. Among the oldest cultivated fruits in human history, figs have been dried and stored for thousands of years across the Middle East and Mediterranean. When fresh figs are dried, their natural sugars concentrate deeply, giving them a rich, honeyed sweetness with a slightly chewy texture and tiny edible seeds inside. They were a staple food for ancient Greek athletes and Roman soldiers alike, prized for their energy and long shelf life. Today, dried figs remain a popular snack in many parts of the world and are used in everything from baked goods to savory dishes. Dried apricots. Originally from the mountainous regions of Central Asia, apricots have been dried under the sun for centuries as a way to preserve their short harvest season. The drying process removes most of the water while locking in a bright, tangy, sweet flavor that fresh apricots rarely deliver as intensely. Their color can vary significantly depending on how they are processed. Apricots dried naturally tend to turn a deep brownish orange, while those treated with sulfur dioxide retain a vivid orange hue. Both are widely enjoyed as snacks and are commonly added to rice dishes, stews, and trail mixes across Central Asian and Middle Eastern cuisines. Dried prunes. A prune is simply a dried plum, though not every plum variety is suitable for the process. The European plum, particularly the Dajan variety from France, is considered ideal because of its high sugar content and firm flesh, which allows it to dry without fermenting. The result is a deeply sweet, soft, and slightly sticky fruit with a complex flavor that carries subtle notes of caramel and molasses. Prunes have long been recognized for their role in supporting digestive health, largely due to their natural fiber and sorbitol content. They are grown in large quantities in California, France, and Chile, and are used in both sweet and savory cooking traditions around the world. Dried coconut. Unlike most dried fruits, coconut undergoes a very different transformation when its moisture is removed. The white flesh of the coconut, once shredded or sliced and dried, becomes light, slightly chewy, and carries a mild, naturally sweet flavor with a distinct tropical richness. Desiccated coconut, which is finely ground and fully dried, has been a baking staple for well over a century. Coconut is unique in that it contains a high amount of fat even after drying, which sets it apart from nearly every other dried fruit. It remains a foundational ingredient across South and Southeast Asian desserts, as well as in confectionery traditions in the Caribbean and Pacific Islands. Dried mango. Few fruits capture the feeling of tropical warmth quite like mango, and when dried, that essence becomes even more concentrated. The flesh is slowly dehydrated until it becomes leathery, golden, and intensely sweet with a gentle tartness at the edges. The Philippines and Thailand are among the most well-known producers of dried mango, each offering slightly different flavor profiles depending on the variety used and whether sugar is added during processing. Some dried mangoes are made with no additives at all, relying entirely on the fruit's natural sugars, while others are sweetened or lightly salted to enhance the contrast of flavors. Either way, dried mango has become one of the most popular dried fruits sold globally. Dried kiwis. The kiwi fruit is native to China, though it was New Zealand that developed it commercially and gave it its now familiar name. When kiwis are dried, the result is a chewy, jewel-like slice with a flavor that balances sweet and tangy in a way that feels almost bright on the palate. Because of their naturally high acidity, dried kiwis often have a slightly more pronounced tartness than many other dried fruits. They are sometimes sweetened during processing to soften that edge. Their vibrant green color, even after drying, makes them a visually striking addition to fruit mixes, granola, and baked goods. Dried apples. The apple has been dried in various forms across Europe and North America for centuries, serving as a practical way to extend the fruit's availability through winter months. When sliced and dehydrated, apples become crisp or chewy, depending on the drying method and the variety used. Tart varieties like Granny Smith hold their flavor well after drying, while sweeter types like Fuji or Gala become almost caramel-like as their sugars concentrate. Dried apple rings were historically packed into ships and traded along early commerce routes because of their lightweight and long preservation. Today, they remain a common and versatile ingredient in cereals, baked goods, and snack mixes. Dried papaya. Papaya originates from southern Mexico and Central America and was introduced to much of the tropical world by Spanish and Portuguese explorers in the 16th century. When dried, papaya takes on a soft, candy-like texture with a warm, musky sweetness that is quite different from sharper fruits. Most commercially available dried papaya is treated with sugar and sometimes dyed to enhance its color, giving it an orange or reddish reddish appearance on the shelf. In its more natural form, without additives, the flavor is gentler and more complex. Dried papaya is popular as a standalone snack and is frequently used in tropical fruit mixes alongside mango and pineapple. Dried guava. Guava is a tropical fruit with origins in Central America and the Caribbean, now grown widely across South Asia, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Fresh guava has a unique aroma and flavor that is hard to place, sitting somewhere between strawberry, pear, and something distinctly floral. When dried, that flavor deepens and sweetens, though the distinctive musky quality of the fruit remains. The texture becomes firm and chewy, and the small edible seeds embedded in the flesh add a gentle crunch. Dried guava is particularly popular in Latin American and South Asian snack traditions, and its naturally high vitamin C content makes it nutritionally notable even after processing. Dried orange. Oranges, when dried, take on a character that is entirely different from what most people associate with fresh citrus. The whole slices or pieces are slowly dehydrated until they become semi-translucent and lightly chewy, with a bittersweet flavor that comes from both the flesh and the concentrated oils in the peel. Unlike most fresh orange products that focus on sweetness alone, dried orange carries the complexity of the whole fruit, including the gentle bitterness of the rind. This makes dried orange particularly popular in mulled wine recipes, herbal tea blends, and festive decorations across European traditions, especially during winter months. Their visual appearance, with the geometric pattern of their segments visible through the translucent skin, also makes them a favored decorative element. Dried dragon fruit. Dragon fruit, which belongs to the cactus family, originates from Central America, but has found its greatest commercial cultivation across Vietnam, Thailand, and southern China. The fresh fruit is known for its striking appearance, with its bright pink or yellow skin and speckled white or red flesh, but its flavor is surprisingly mild and slightly sweet. When dried, the flavor becomes more concentrated, and the texture takes on a light chewiness. Dried dragon fruit retains much of its visual appeal, especially the dark flecks of its tiny seeds against the pale flesh, which makes it a popular choice for fruit mixes where appearance matters as much as taste. Dried banana. Banana is the most widely consumed fresh fruit in the world, and in many tropical regions, it has also been dried for centuries as a way to preserve surplus harvests. Dried bananas come in two main forms. The first is a soft, chewy type made by slow-drying whole or halved bananas until they shrink into a dense, caramel-sweet strip. The second is the familiar crispy banana chip, which is typically sliced thin and either dehydrated or lightly fried before drying. Both versions carry an intensely sweet banana flavor, though the chips have a more pronounced richness from their preparation. In the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and parts of West Africa, dried banana has been a traditional food for generations before it became a mainstream snack elsewhere. Dried peach. Peaches are believed to have originated in China, where they have been cultivated for thousands of years before spreading westward through Persia and into the Mediterranean world. When dried, peaches develop a deep amber color and a rich, honeyed flavor that feels both sweet and faintly tangy. Their texture becomes dense and chewy, and unlike fresh peaches, which are highly perishable, the dried form can be stored for long periods without losing its quality. Dried peaches are used widely in Central Asian cuisine, particularly in Uzbek and Tajik cooking, where they are added to rice dishes and slow-cooked stews. In Europe and North America, they are also a staple in baked goods and fruit compotes.